Om Tare Tudari Soha. Om Tare Tudari Soha.
所以请大家3礼拜之后到座位原位。
Good afternoon. Nice to have all of you back. Now continue with the third point, which is transformation of adverse condition onto the path of Buddhi. So, all this point that I've shared with you yesterday and day before yesterday, it's all about how we can make our life more meaningful by applying all this skill and technique. Now, today we are living in a technology age, yet our life has become much busier. Physically, mentally, we are really unsettled. And in such environment, the thought of all this negativity tend to grow within you. And unless we address these unwanted thoughts, it could lead to more suffering or misery. Therefore, this is the right practice to, whenever thought of unwanted arises, one has to transform into part of the body. How we do that? I've explained to you yesterday. Suppose when you have an anger, or suppose you have a jealousy, we can't do away with such thought immediately because we are still ordinary human beings. But at least what we can do is to make more meaningful, is to take away or represent your thoughts of jealousy, the thought of all, others, the jealousies of others, the angers of others. So by thinking similar way, we can at least, make this unwanted thought less effective in terms of its effect. So this is how we can practice every day, because we are not shortage of our unwanted thoughts, as I mentioned many times. Okay. So in order to effectively transform all mishaps into the part of the body, we need to engage in 3 trainings. Training in relative bodhicitta, training in ultimate bodhicitta, and through application of 4 different steps will help us to transform effectively. Now, in terms of training in relative bodhicitta, the text explains, drive all blame into oneself. This is something very, very important. In fact, many gurus, even like Shantideva and many others, who persistently advise us not to blame anyone else. For us, when something comes up, we always tend to point out someone else. Oh, because of those people, because of he or she, or because of spirit, I'm not well. Other than I'm okay. But then we are, when you have such mindset, then we are missing the larger point, which is you are not trying to find some solution within. We are trying to look somewhere else. When you look for a solution somewhere else, then you will never find a solution. If I'm not well, I didn't go to see a doctor and what's wrong with me. So doing so, I'm able to pinpoint where I'm wrong, why I'm sick, so I can recover from my sickness. However, if you start pointing on others, blaming on others, you will never find the true solution, and your problem may persist, may continue forever. So, until today, what we have learned, what we have studied, why we have gone through all the training is for one reason. What is the reason? The main reason is to, defeat our attachment to self and our ego clinging. Because this is the main problem that we have. This is the main disease that we have inherited for many, many lifetimes. And what Shantideva said is right. He said, when we see dead body, we all get afraid. So, oh, dead body. We try to run away from the dead body. But he said, when the dead body is walking, nobody's afraid. When you are lying out, dead body is walking, so nobody's afraid. When the body is laying on the floor, so everybody is frightened. So we should be afraid now, because this will cause more serious problem than the body which is lying there. It will never cause anything. So it is so important as a practitioner to learn to blame oneself. I think this is very, very important. because many times probably we may do the same thing. When I'm sick, I blame someone else because somebody does something, some sort of like curse on me, so I'm not well. And if I fail in my career or somebody did something to me, so this is all due to my own wrong action. So it is so important to look into problems seriously, inwardly, rather than focusing outwardly, because this will not find any effective solution. So it is so important. Now, okay, the second part, which when we train, part of training in relative bodhicitta, in order to make our action in all these adverse conditions into enlightenment, it is also advised us to be grateful to everybody, and this how we can gain so much of benefit, like Buddha Shakyamuni. And as we have learned from this discussion, everyone, our parents, the caring parents are very important to us, and we have to be grateful to them. And similarly, what many gurus said, that each and every sentient beings, once in our lifetime, they have become our parents. So we need to be grateful to them. Therefore, there's also a good reason. Suppose, I know every one of you want to be Buddha. In order to be Buddha, yes, practice is very, very important. But without others, there's no way you can be Buddha. And we fail to recognize this from the beginning. However, Prince Siddhartha recognized this potential in others, so he started to praise others, start to respect others, and start to care for others. Therefore, Prince Siddhartha one day became a Buddha. And we fail to recognize this, and we are still ordinary beings. Therefore, all the benefit lies somewhere else, which means that, suppose if you want to practice patience, you cannot practice patience within yourself. You have to practice it with someone else. So without others, there's no way you can practice patience. No way you can practice compassion. No way you can practice caring. So others are very important for us to achieve our own goal. Without others, we can't. Therefore, logically speaking, it is so important. Others are so important. Therefore, we have to be always grateful to others, because without you, I cannot be Buddha. And without me, you cannot be Buddha. So, the benefits on the both sides. Okay, this is how would you see when you see others, this kind of attitude that we should have. Okay, want to go with that first? According to Langri Tangpa, as we learned yesterday, share success to all others, take defeat to oneself, the crazy man. We may say that, a crazy man, Langri Tangpa. And he said, a person who is only concerned for himself is an ordinary person. Person who is only concerned for himself is an ordinary person. A person who is concerned about others is a real practitioner. A person who is concerned about others is a real practitioner. So sometimes we may call it practitioner, so we need to see am I truly a practitioner? And if these are not true, then I'm not a practitioner, you know. And you know, also, what this also says is, you know, sometimes we may face problem due to others. Maybe it could be my own problem. Many times Guru said, like Shantidawa, he simply said that when we see the fault of others, actually, maybe we are not seeing the true faults of others. We are actually seeing my own fault in others. Okay? So it is so important before we criticize, you know, make sure that it is not my wrong perception, wrong misperception, you know, because there are people, you know, who always like to criticize others, you know. You know, if it's meaningful criticism, it's okay, you know, you're doing because from your heart. But sake of just criticizing others is unwanted because it doesn't serve the purpose. So one has to be very careful. And also, you know, according to the text, it says, you know, sometimes when we face problem, it not necessarily it is bad, because there's a saying, sometimes suffering could be the blessing of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, or your teacher, your Guru, because it reminds you that you need to improve yourself. Because many times, for temporary gain, we tend to sacrifice long-time achievement. So temporarily, if you suffer, then it's good for the long term. You know, like for instance, you may have suddenly you may have a stomach ache, and you may have a serious problem with your health. Because of the stomach problem, you go and see doctor. Then doctor will diagnose your real problem. So similarly, when you face little criticism, when you have to listen to sometimes not tasteful words from others, one has to be patient. Something maybe I've said something wrong. By doing so, actually you are benefiting in long term. Okay, so that's how we need to see.
是更有意义的。所以呢，在
Now this part is again very very deep. You know, in some of the Mahamudra teaching explains that one should not abandon thoughts. You know, when we practice shamatha, we try to restrict our thoughts. But when you go higher, like during the practice of Mahamudra, one is advised not to restrict your thoughts and not try to abandon your thought, because your thought, the nature of your thought is Buddha, Dharmakaya. And if you abandon the thought, you are actually somehow abandoning Dharmakaya. And this is part of the teaching, actually explaining how 4 kayas of Buddha, 4 different bodies of Buddha actually reside in our thought or reside within us. And also, this is a teaching showing us the right view. And this is the practice. It's actually, you are actually protected by the protection of emptiness. When you practice emptiness, this is the most profound protection. You're building up your natural, innate born protection. You know, I went to Tibet, of course, many times, and one time I met one boy, you know, and he asked me to give Buddha's images, you know, in pendants, you know. And I look at him, he was wearing almost like 20, you know, 20. I said, why you need so many? And he wants one more, you know. It seems like Buddha's having, all the Buddhas having a meeting. You know? So he wear like almost 20 of them on his neck. And also every time when we meet, teacher or Rinpoche or Lama, or many people likes to go to Thailand and wear these big Buddhas, and with the tattoos for protection. And this is exactly the protection we needed. So how we protect from all the forces, this is what I'm going to discuss shortly now. It says confusion as the four kayas. As we learned yesterday during the session, what we see is illusion. So one should not have any attachment. One should just see, feel, and go on with your life, not to have attachment. It can happen. There are many gurus. They go on with their daily life, but they never have an attachment to their lives. Therefore, they're always happy. The moment attachment comes in, arises, that's the way. That's the beginning of our suffering. Like I said yesterday, illusionists, they may create beautiful objects, but illusionists will never have attachment to their creation because they know it is not real. It's just illusion, So this is the attitude that we should have towards our life. This helps us to reduce the effect of our attachment. Now, when we see things, we see things there's nothing wrong, but we shouldn't see as real. Like looking at the reflection of moon in the lake, inside the bucket. We see the moon, yes, there's a moon, but is this real? No, it is not real. But you can still see and there's a moon in the bucket. You can say that. But you can't expect the big moon to be inside the bucket, but you can still say there's a moon. So that's how we need to see our life. Now, when you see at the same time, which is empty, it's called Dharmakaya. Okay? Self-empty is called Dharmakaya. Okay? And yet you can see the clarity of the moon inside the bucket, or like our life, even though it's an illusion, yet we can see with full of clarity. It is called Nirmanakaya. Okay? Dharmakaya is body of realization, body of emptiness. Nirmanakaya is the body of different emanation in many different forms. Yeah? And the union of Dharmakaya and Nirmanakaya, like the reflection of moon. Appearance, you can see the appearance of the moon there, yet at the same time it is empty. So empty and appearance, the union of empty and appearance is called Sambhogakaya, which is known as also a body of joy. And finally, all these bodies are inseparable. Empty, clarity, appearance, these are inseparable. Yeah? You cannot separate between what you see and empty. They're all there. Yeah? It is called Subhavakaya. Okay? Subhavakaya. So when you are able to understand four kayas as what you see externally or within us, this is a very profound instruction, and this can be say the armor of right view. When you understand in such a profound way the things that you see, it is the armor of profound view, and it is also the protection of emptiness. What we call is the protection object of emptiness. Okay, so it's very, very deep. So this one we need to spend time, and we need to look again and again within you. Okay. Okay, so let me go a little bit down. So that's how we need to, maybe we can spend 5 minutes, okay? We see our body as a four kaya now, okay? We spend 5 minutes and try to meditate, okay? And using the same sitting posture that yesterday we have learned.
现在呢，我们跟着上师一样来重复练习这个禅定。今天这个部分呢，就是刚才上师所提到的这个四身报身、化身、法身跟体性身。那么用这刚才上师所讲的呢，进入你的禅定当中来，我们来练习5分钟。
So whenever if you visualize your body is ornamented with 4 kayas, then you don't need any more protection.
所以不管当你在禅定的。
Finally, the method, the 4 applications. Why these are important to transform all this misfortunes or all this act of evil into the path of enlightenment. And we need to do 4 things. What we should do. First, cultivate merits. How we do that? We practice sadhana, recite mantras, make offering to Buddhas, build school, build hospital, build monasteries, make mandala offerings, and make offering fruits, water to altar. There are so many ways one can cultivate merits. Okay, merits is the source of happiness, success, and merit is also source of enlightenment. So cultivating merit is the first step. Okay. Second, reflect and confess our evil action. So these are required to truly confess and eradicate, in order to eradicate your mistakes. These are very much required. We cannot say to Buddha, "Oh, Buddha, sorry, I done something wrong. Sorry. Buddha, you have a lot of compassion, forgive me." No. So you can't just do that. "Oh, sorry, I was drunk when I make mistake." No, it's not done. So how can we truly confess and eradicate the ill effect of our action? So these are the 4 things must be required. Now, first, one should have genuine sense of regret. One should have a genuine sense of regret. That means I have done something wrong. I am really sorry for my heart. This is the first thing. Second, one has to commit that I will never make such mistake again. Even I have to go through a lot of pain, I will never commit again. So this kind of commitment should be there. Okay? Third, and then of course, you need to be under guidance of Tribal Gym. You need to take refuge. You need to recite prayers to all the Buddhas for forgiveness. These are very, very important, And finally, power. You want to go with that first? The power of applying the remedy. So what kind of remedy we are talking about here? Practicing practice of emptiness, making images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, reciting mantras, reciting 7 branch of prayers, offering mandala. So all these sutras and purification. So these are all part of remedies. So with all this, you are able to truly eradicate your poison, your mistake. Otherwise, mistake will always remain. Like without the proper lotions, that we apply in kitchens, in toilets. All this, you can't really clean, well, just with the water. So similarly, if we have all these, techniques and methods are in one, and no matter how serious your crime may be, can be overcome. So you can't just say, "Sorry, I done something wrong." Okay. Second, the third, offering Thorma to mainly worthy God. There are many reasons. Many of you may offer smoke to worldly gods, demons reverse to protector. Sometimes there are many forms of protector, not necessarily wisdom protector, worldly protector. So we actually negotiate with them. We make an agreement and sign a deal with them, worldly protector. I make this offering to you. Please do not harm me. Please protect me so that my practice becomes successful. That's what you are saying when you make offering. Thorma, or if you cannot make thorma, I know it's hard to make. You can offer biscuit or anything, even ice cream or durian. Offer thorma to Dakini protector. These are again different. When you refer to Dakini and wisdom protector, you offer, you don't offer, doesn't mind. Like Buddha, every morning when you go and offer something, Buddha look the same. Even if you don't offer, Buddha look the same. But some of the worldly protector and worldly God, if you do not offer, they get angry. And so make sure that when you start offering, you have to offer every day. You cannot say, I was busy yesterday, So now why we offer this to all the Dakinis and protector? The main reason is to remove all kinds of unfavorable conditions to my practice. When I want to practice, wish to practice, I may face with an obstacle. So maybe all the obstacles will be removed, okay? And I'm blessed with more favorable condition. And particularly, when I face certain obstacle, may I'm able to overcome from such situation. For this reason, we make this offering. Okay. So here we are more or less discuss the third part. Now the fourth point, I think it's the fourth one. Okay, fourth, which is very, very important, how we practice in this life. It's not very long, but very precise and condensed. And how we prepare ourselves when time comes to go. Okay, these are the two parts. It's very, very important. Now, living a life of significance and parting with grace. Now, living a life of significance. How we can make our life more meaningful. And there's danger for, there's a danger to all practitioners, which is immune to the Dharma. In medical terms, if you are immune to medicine, then you are more or less can't be cured, And it is more dangerous to become immune to Dharma, We tend to take for granted, I will do it tomorrow, I've recited, it doesn't work, I will do it later. We tend to take easy with Dharma. And when you do not see Dharma as the only savior and only medicine which can cure the disease that we inherited for so many lifetimes, and then when you do not see this, then you become immune to Dharma. Even though you may be Buddhist, but if you become immune to Dharma, then it's very, very dangerous, then there's no way Dharma can really help us. So we have to make sure that always devoted to Dharma, and always willing to practice, and these are very, very important. Now there are 5 strengths which makes our life, this life, more meaningful. Okay, you go with that first. Okay, the first is force of intention, the strength of intention. What this means? So these 5 strengths, in fact, all the profound methods are actually shortened and into five condensed into 5 strengths. Okay. the strength of intention, what kind of intention we should have. From today until I become a Buddha, until I die, from this year, from this month, and until I die, I will never give up two forms of bodhicitta, relative and ultimate bodhicitta that we have shared during these three sessions. So this is the commitment that we should have. So every day we should have this commitment. Now the strength of familiarity. Okay, now what we need to do, whatever we do from morning until we go to bed, okay, there could be act of virtue, could be act of non-virtue, could be act of neutral. One should never let your mindfulness, awareness be parted from you, which means you have to be always mindful and always aware. Alertness should be always there, because if you are followed by mindfulness and awareness, no one can harm you, nothing can hurt you. You will be always protected. Why we make a lot of mistakes? Because many times we lack mindfulness and awareness. So mindfulness is the one that always remind us of whatever good or bad we have done earlier, and all the all the ill effects. Okay, awareness is it's like a spy that you are constantly present. That means you are constantly watching your action, physical, mental, vocal action all the time. So these are the most precious and most powerful bodyguard that you can ever have. Because if you have these two bodyguards, then you will be always perfect. These two are your best teacher, because you may have a teacher, some of you may not have a teacher. When the teacher is with you, and you are a very good student, you do all your homework. But the moment teacher goes somewhere far, you tend to forget everything, and you have a long summer break. Okay? So when teacher returns, then you will start you're scrambling with everything, you don't know where to begin with, But this is the problem. So when you have mindfulness and awareness with you, so you are always guided, so you don't have to worry. You can take your time, you can be happy, you can be comfortable, yet also you can make great progress in your Dharma practice. Okay, the third part is the strength of virtuous seed. Okay, virtuous seed. The force of virtuous seed. Virtuous seed. Now, when we want to give rise to mind of awakened ones, such as love and compassion, and it all goes to flourish love and compassion within, we should never have a time frame, or even terms of practice. The problem with us, whenever we practice, we tend to have a time frame. Suppose, I want to practice 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, you are done. You say, I cannot do more than 5 minutes. Otherwise, I may, commit crime. But then other than practice, like watching TV, or when you are with a friend, even hours and hours, even whole night, doesn't matter. There's no time frame at all. So this is the problem we have. So in terms of practice, we should never have a time frame, okay? The longer, better, of course, but then you have to be fully focused. So we should never have a time frame. It's the force of repulsion, the strength of repulsion. What does it mean? It means one should always recognize ego-clinging attachment to self is the source of problem. And I will make sure that never let this ruin my life by dictating, by watching our thoughts, physical, mental, verbal action. So one has to be fully aware that this brings us suffering. So make sure that these mindset never let us control, because the result is always suffering. Now, the force of aspiration or strength of aspiration. So what we need to do, we need to always, because aspirational prayer are very, very important. Sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we may not have fully total belief. We just recite because sake of reciting. Aspirational prayer are very, very profound, because many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, when they are ordinary beings, they make a lot of aspirational prayer. And today, and because of their aspirational prayer, the benefit from Buddha and Bodhisattvas effortlessly benefits others. So no matter what, you should make every time a strong aspirational prayer. So now what kind of aspirational prayer are we making now? We are saying, we are praying that I may only able to liberate all others, okay? And until I become a Buddha, I will never even forget mind of awakened, bodhicitta, even in my dream. And finally, whatever obstacle that I have, I may able to overcome obstacle and become the driving force of all this obstacle becomes the driving force of enlightenment. So this kind of aspirational prayer that we should make. So now we have more or less discussed the important part of this life, and now shortly and briefly I will also discuss how to prepare ourselves when time comes. Okay, parting with grace. This time will come to all of us, no matter young and old. And if you are prepared now, then when time comes, you don't worry, you don't remain in darkness. So this is preparation. Before you take any flight, the flight attendant will explain what to do. It may not happen, but we are advised to put on all the life jacket. But this is not. It may not happen, but this will happen. So better learn. So when you make importance of listening to all this advice inside the plane, which may not happen, in our lifetime, but this will happen. So make sure you learn. Yeah. So one time in India, it's called Bagdora Airport, and I think this monk is from northeast. I don't know, from where, probably Gharwang. So he actually understand English a little bit, but not really. Yeah? So he was sitting close to the window, exit door, and this flight attendant explained that you shouldn't pull this, and show him that it is when the emergency landing you should pull this. So he shake his head, okay. And the flight attendant thought that she understands everything, And after that, the flight was running on the runway, almost taking off. He pulled the door, and then the emergency, what do you call that? Of course, extended that. What do you call that? Emergency. Anyway, yeah. So inflated that, landing, in the water, and the plane has to stop in the middle of the runway, because then it's already, the door is already open. So he got arrested, and then he got almost put into prison. Then he said that you asked me to pull, so I pulled. Because he could understand everything, but he said pull, okay, pull. So when the plane was taking off, he pulled. So make sure that you don't pull, right?
我们就在这里。
The force of white seed. This is very, very important. The strength of white seed. When you are alive, whatever you need to do, this is the time. that you should be preparing. If you want to, you should always plan, make a will, what you want to do with your belonging. What portion should go to charity, family, or everything. So this way, when you prepare something, then there's more merit because you're doing yourself. It is heavier. Because once you die, you like it or you don't like it, somebody will do it for you. And worse, when you see others doing, when you do not agree yourself, then it may create anger and this will lead to wrong path in Pardo. So make sure that whatever you want to do, you should do it now and make sure that you keep your will clearly as much as possible. Second, when the moment comes, of course, if you can recite prayers, if it's difficult, then you should have this thought in your mind. May my bodhicitta never be forgotten. Okay, and may I meet in my next life gurus who preach bodhicitta. Okay, and may my guru and Buddha bless me in your heart if you always think this way. So this will help you in Pardo and even in next life. Okay, it's called the force of aspiration. Okay, and now the force of repulsion. One has to see, okay, because of attachment to I, because of this ego clinging, I've been imprisoned in this samsara for a long, long time, and I will make sure that I will never let my attachment, ego clinging go. All the sickness, all the death, it's all because of ego clinging and attachment. Okay, so I will never let this ego clinging and attachment grow in me. So this is what you are saying forcefully in your heart. Okay. And then the fourth. Okay, the motivation. Okay, so now before I die in Pardo, in my next life, I make sure that I will never abandon, never forget bodhicitta, the mind of our awakened one. That's what you are saying. Final part, familiarity, power of familiarity. When you know that now time has come, about to go, if you can physically sit, then you should sit as we have learned the meditation sitting posture, and then what you think is, okay, everything is illusion, everything is created by mind. Mind itself is empty. And what is mind? Mind is the self nature of mind is empty. The characteristic of mind is luminous, and the appearance of mind is spontaneous. So if you are able to sit like this, and if you die, and the last connecting moment, then you will recognize so-called luminosity. And if you recognize luminosity, then you don't have to go through all the Pardo stages. Immediately you will recognize luminosity and you will become a Buddha. Or else at least you will reborn in higher realms. So you don't go down and further down and down, okay? So this is very, very important. If you can sit in meditation posture and think about mind, just focus on your mind. Mind is self-nature, the self-nature of mind is empty. The characteristic of mind is luminous. Luminous here means mind is not just empty, yet it has the quality of understanding, recognizing, so it's not just empty, okay? And wisdom, of course. And yet mind is spontaneous. You don't have to think. It will just spontaneously flows out, like a river. So this is how you should think when a moment of death comes. And if you can do that, you are guaranteed that you don't have to worry in next life. Okay, you will find the right place. How, due to your physical health, if you cannot sit in meditation posture, then you can lie down like a Buddha, you know. Your thumb should press your ring finger, you know, right ring finger. It's called ring finger, yeah? Yeah? Ring finger. Because this finger, all the negative energy that flows in and out, we call it the wind of defilement that flows in and out from your ring finger, which is unstable. And could be this is the reason why many times the marriage is unstable, because you have had the ring on the wrong side. So next time you should put on your thumb, so it's much stronger. Okay? Ring finger. And then when you lie down, you have to straighten your arm, right arm, left arm, and two legs, you know, like Buddha Shakyamuni, and close your right nostril. Okay, according to this book, right nostril, because again the right nostril, all the karmic wind flow from your right nostril. All your karmic wind flows from right nostril in and out. So you close it. Okay, let your wind flow from your left nostril, because all the wisdom air flow in and out from the left nostril. Okay, so press like this and straighten your both leg and your arm like this, and straight like this. Of course, not like this, but of course on your bed. And then while you're sleeping, what you need to think is that what I have explained earlier about mind. You know, mind is empty, luminous, yet appearance is spontaneous. So when you think about this, and if you can rest your mind in on such object, then the moment you die, you are connected with you will be connected with luminosity. You know, there's a saying: the luminosity is all over, and our luminosity is the sunlight mother luminosity, and the luminosity all over is the mother-like luminosity. So my luminosity and the luminosity, you know, fully present will be merged together. So that's how you become a Buddha. So you should sleep like this. Okay? So every night you can practice when you go to bed. You know, every night. But make sure that you know you're both. If your family, both husband, wife is Buddhist, otherwise they may think there's something wrong with you. Yeah? Or you can try on the sofa first. Okay? So we try for 5 minutes. Of course, you can't sleep here, so you have to stand up and, you know, sit in meditation posture and try to focus on what I have just explained about the mind. Look at the mind itself. Mind is empty and luminous. Okay, so if you can sit in such focus, this will really help you. So you should try to practice every day. Okay, so when you go back home tonight and on your bed, you can try. A few seconds also okay. A few minutes also okay.
现在我们再跟着上师来练习5分钟。如果你能够做禅定的话，就做禅定的姿势 ，OK 入定。然后刚才的那个教法，最重要的是注意你的意念，明、空、刹那以及明空不二。
came the soul for this time, and I'm really happy that I have this time to share with you regarding the practice of 7 points of mind training. And I know certain parts are very, very profound and difficult to understand. So what I would like to request all of you is, try to go back and go through again and again. And when I come next year, I will complete the whole text. And as I mentioned yesterday, you can every day you can use one verse from the text, and then try to focus on the meaning that we have just learned. Again, you can also use your book as a reference. So this will be really meaningful if you can apply into your daily life. So, so it's like a open open is something like a master. He did master in Buddhist philosophy. So he already started to offer Tibetan classes. So very soon we're going to have more classes on Buddhist philosophy and others. And you are always welcome to join. Okay, Lama. Say hello. And I think many of you are doing for foundation. You should keep doing. And whoever has completed, next year when I come every week, I will be issuing a certificate who have done full foundation. And I will also give sort of like, we are also designing sort of like, what do you call this? Batch, like something like batch, who have done full foundation and who have finished 5 years program and who are in the first year of Masay, two Masay, Mahamudra session. It's all about meditation. So finally the book will be end of the year. We have this time we work on and everything is edited, will be published end of the year. So next year when I come for one, beside this program, but one day I will have a day, probably whole day, I'll be teaching and we will partly also will be meditation together. So I'll be focusing on this book. There are 25 chapters. So this book will be like a whole life. There are 3 books. The first will be out end of the year. So you can keep this book for a whole life. So make sure that you read the book, and if you want the degree, then you have to sit for exam, even for the 7 points of mind training. Yeah, I think there are a few questions. Some of the questions are not clear, but the first question is, if someone has a problem with the bank, is it okay, not to follow the posture? I think it's okay, totally fine, because if you have physical problem, then it's okay. It's exempted. It's not because you don't want to do it, so it's okay.
那么
睡觉可以没有问题，
睡觉也没有问题，
睡觉还要打坐。
睡觉也可以打坐。
The second question, I'm not sure. It says when we look into our thoughts during meditation, when no thought has arisen, the mind will start to focus on breathing or chanting mantra. Is this also considered as rising thoughts? Such stage, to reach such stage is a bit hard, but this happens. Like for instance, basically when you focus on thoughts, objects, it's called shamatha, one-pointedness, and then when you make it more deeper, then you involve the technique of vipassana, which is known as analytical thoughts. Focus at the same time you analyze and you study. So initially, it is part of thought, because it's no real plakto, we call it plakto. It is a thought. But what happens is when you master the technique of shamatha, and then these two techniques seems to merge. While you are focused, while you are analyzing, while you are fully aware, there's no effort. So this is called the union of shamatha and vipassana, which is hard to achieve, but it is possible. It's like, for instance, like sometimes machine, you need a handle to, roll the machine in order to start the engine. So after rolling, it will, once the engine starts, then you don't have to roll again and again. It will start itself, it will move itself. Like even in a car, first you need to start. Then once you start, the car will move, automatically. So this can happen. When this happens, you actually you might not say thought. This is not a thought. Thought arises. So when this happens, you don't have to again reaffirm that I'm in meditation. It's okay. You continue with your practice. You don't have to say that, oh, I'm doing this meditation. Try to bring back your thought. You don't have to do that. So it is possible, focus at the same time, non-thought yet fully realize, fully analyze. It's possible. Okay. Any questions? If not, we will stop here. If not, if you find it hard, I'll be in the center, for more days, so you can come and let me know, okay? I never had this experience in my life. Here, like I'm teaching, so you ask me questions. The feeling is very different, So when I was in school, I was as a student, so I need to ask questions to professor. It was totally different. The feeling is totally different. It was really funny and sometimes strange. Okay, then if nothing, we stop here. Okay, I will see you tonight. 7.
6.
Huh? Oh, 6 o'clock. Oh, 6, yeah. Oh, better go
Today we
back.
have to close it at 9. 目前 some more, you have the book.
Okay, bring that.
OK， 你们刚才还有人请那本仁波切的著作，现在赶快上来，上司给你们签名。完了之后呢，我们休息。You have to come back at 6 o'clock. Because today is Sunday, last day we have to practice 9 o'clock. So please.